In today's video, we're going to be discussing the utility of drones in an emergency preparedness context, so let's get to it. Drones, like most technology, are not the first thing that's sought after from survivalists and preppers. The tendency is to focus on those things which are essential to our survival, like food, water, shelter, and security. Most preppers seek the most minimalist of technology, which can still function independent of the grid. Now, as robust as modern drones may be, they're still a relatively fragile technology which relies on a variety of different sensors, the global positioning system, and different radio frequencies or Wi-Fi in order to manipulate them. Because it relies on a power source and power will be limited in a grid-down scenario, most preppers would scoff at the idea of trying to integrate a technology like this into your preparedness arsenal. However, let's talk today about the potential benefits and, of course, risk factors when using drones in a grid-down situation. Now, one of the top potential uses of drones with respect to disaster preparedness would have to be search and rescue applications. Drones can provide you an immediate bird's-eye view of impacted areas. This will be beneficial in post-disaster environments where accessibility has been severely impacted by debris. Drones are much more cost-effective to operate than helicopters and airplanes, and of course can be flown by anybody, no pilot's license required. Instead of aimlessly rummaging through debris, if a drone can pinpoint the location of those in need, the appropriate amount of assistance can be allocated to that particular region, thereby making for more efficient use of post-disaster resources, which will surely be limited. Another application of this technology has to be reconnaissance. Most drones are capable of flying several hundred meters into the air. At these distances, they are hard to detect with the naked eye or through auditory means. For these reasons, they will make excellent reconnaissance tools. However, it should be understood that the best drones on the market today have a very short operating range, relatively speaking. Some of the best drones only achieving a few miles range from their operator under ideal conditions. Regardless, if one can have their drone go undetected, this can be a vital source for information and definitely a force multiplier, which can allow for a broader spectrum awareness for enemy forces or potential threats. Another utility of drones is security or surveillance. Not only do drones have offensive spy capabilities, they of course can also be used for the purpose of defending your own territory. Being able to have an advance warning of any impending attack or infringement can mean the difference between life and death. The functionality here is only limited by the runtime of the drones in question. If in a large group and you had enough battery packs and renewable energy sources available to power them, this could be a very lucrative post-collapse occupation for someone tasked with the responsibility of community defense. Another potential utility for drones is surveying and finding resources. There may be certain prospects of which you're uncertain as to whether or not you should allocate manpower and resources to scavenging. The drone allows you to go in and investigate prior to see if there's anything worthwhile to be had in that particular region. This can save an immense amount of time and resources, both of which will be limited commodities post-collapse. In addition to surveying regions for resources, this could also apply to wild game and hunting. Another potential use of drones is using the drone itself for the purpose of attack. Mounting various weapons or explosives on drones is a very strategic and real possibility with this technology. After all, it's one of the primary reasons why this technology was originally created and is so widespread in its use from militaries around the world. Another potential utility of drones is for delivery of information. Although drone payload is typically limited to under a few pounds, nonetheless, they can convey information and even carry small amounts of stuff across short distances. This would be useful not only for search and rescue, but also for communicating with nearby alliances. Lastly, in the case of chemical or biological attack, using a drone to surveil a potentially contaminated area could be a lifesaver. Unlike humans, drones are not affected by nuclear, biological, and chemical toxicity. Now, of course, there's many risk factors and limitations to consider when using drones. The first thing to take note of is that many modern drones require GPS systems in order to stabilize them. In conditions that are even slightly windy, it's very hard to control a drone without modern global positioning systems. In the case of a grid-down scenario, there is a possibility that the global positioning system will no longer function. In such case, drones are going to be far more challenging to manipulate than people are accustomed to with the GPS-assisted navigation. Another potential downside is that although drones are made to endure many crashes Generally speaking, they are very fragile devices and require machine precision cut parts in order to function. Thus, drones might be useful until they require serious maintenance. Another potential downside of drones is that they might give away your location. If not properly concealed, drones can give away as much information as they provide you with. Another potential downside is that there's a relatively short run time. In a situation where power may be scarce, providing electricity to the power-hungry process that drones demand may not be a viable option. Most high-end drones can achieve run times of up to 30 minutes in ideal conditions. This should be long enough to quickly survey an area, however won't lend itself to the luxury of constant surveillance. Another downside to drones is that they are rather large and cumbersome, although in the past year more portable versions have hit the market. The footage that you've seen and the drone shown in this video is the DJI Phantom 3 Standard. It is among the most rudimentary of professional grade drones that you can purchase. This one currently retails for around $500 US. It's not until you fly a drone that you can truly appreciate how empowering this technology is as a force multiplier for information gathering. I personally believe they are well worth the investment, if only for hobby and recreational purposes. But indeed, as discussed in this video, would have many utilities in a post-disaster scenario. There are many other drones on the market like the Mavic Pro, which are much more lightweight and durable and have a much farther range than the DJI Phantom Standard. You can spend several $1000s on a high quality drone. Most of these are not necessary. For general recreational purposes, and even having some preparedness applications, the DJI Phantom 3 Standard is probably the best value you can get right now. Don't forget that you can show your support by liking, commenting, subscribing. Stay tuned for more videos about all things survival and preparedness on this channel. If you find the information shown on this channel useful, you can show your support by supporting my Patreon campaign. I'll post a link in the description. Even a monthly donation of $1 or more goes a long way in supporting the channel. Thanks for watching. Canadian Prepper out.